comments. Lovely, excellent. I'm very, very excited. I can see all the comments. Thank you very much. Now it is time for us all to get started. So number one thing, I think there are a lot of people who actually have written a lot of things. They have written a lot of things here. Anybody speaking English, I'd never be tired, etc., etc. Okay. Make a video on. So there are a lot of comments coming on in. Now I'd like to request, because I can see the comments now, can I request one more time each one of you to please write what you have been doing in your quarantine period so that I can read those questions and get back to you. Okay, Rose, are you able to get our comments? Yes, I'm able to get your comments, Abhilasha. Thank you very much for asking. I'm a copy of Paras Chabra. All right, cool. Okay, seems like, please, okay, so I think so many comments coming up. My God, so many comments. All right, so I think let's move on. I think that'd be a better idea, my friends. You must have seen a lot of people, a lot of trainers. Now, I'd like to ask all of you to please just concentrate on what I'm going to say now, because what I'm going to say is very, very crucial for all of us to understand. And that is the fact that I will share a very interesting story with you. And in that story, I'm going to talk about my time when I was in London. The year was 2009. And I was studying how to teach English. And one of my professors' name was Mr. Declan Cooley. And I was studying at one of the most esteemed schools in London. And I was learning, as I said, how to teach English. There was a time in the first semester when my teacher, Mr. Declan Cooley, said that there are three ways in which people learnt language over the years. And people started doing studies on it from World War II, actually. So the story goes like this. The first people, the soldiers who had to travel to different parts of the world, study various languages, not various languages, but the language that is spoken in that one particular region. And those people were meant to learn languages very quickly. For example, people who were going from Germany towards the English world, and people who were coming from there towards the European world. They had to study the languages of the region that they were traveling to. So it happened so that people started asking the soldiers to repeat after them the components of language, the sentences of language. And they would stand in thousands together, and there'd be a mic and one person would say things, the other person would just repeat after that person. This method of learning the language is called audio-lingual method. In this method, you actually listen to the person and you repeat after the person, and therefore it is expected that you will learn the language primarily after that. Well, time passed on, and people realized that this method is actually failing. After that, during 1970s, 80s, and 90s, another very important method came of learning English, and that is, or for that matter, any language, and that was grammar translation method. There's only so far that you can go with this method, actually. In grammar translation method, as people, you must have seen, as students of the language, when you were young or when you just started out learning the language, your teachers would ask you to translate whatever was there in your mother tongue to English, or whatever was there in English to your mother tongue. This method became widely famous around the world, and people started to kind of just put their heads around learning the language using this method. But later, there were a lot of linguists like me. Linguists are those people who study language, teach language, etc. So there were a lot of people who started studying the language using grammar translation method. and they realized that even this method is failing. Do you know why? Because the rules that you have in your first language, which is, let's say, my first language is Spanish. Of course, it's not Spanish. But for example, if my first language, if my mother tongue is Spanish, and the grammar rules that are there in Spanish are different than the grammar rules that we have in English language. And you can replace Spanish with Hindi, Japanese, Mandarin, etc., whatever the language is. So people realized that grammar translation method is flopping big time because you cannot translate everything from your mother tongue to the second language because there's no direct translation. For example, I'm going to give you a very simple example. I'm going to give you something very important and simple. What's it to you? What is the meaning of what's it to you in your language? Well, what's it to you? A lot of people, first of all, will think about it. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? What's it to you has actually got to do with a sarcastic way of speaking English. And in place of what's it to you, people say, this is none of your business. People say this is none of your business when somebody tries to ask you things about your maybe your personal things, and you're not interested in that. And a lot of so people realize that this is not the right way of speaking English. And first of all, A, this is not right, and B, only those people are speaking English like this, those that believe in grammar translation method, because they've heard it from other people speaking it. So they translate every single word. So that method actually flopped. So in this video, one of the most important agendas for me personally was not to talk about 10 tips to you and confuse you in the end of the day and talk about, do this, do that, do this, do that. I just want to help you understand. I want to take this opportunity to help you understand that this very purpose of learning a language is not based on grammar translation method, because this method has flopped phenomenally. I'm using the word phenomenally to express the very intensity of it. It's flopped phenomenally. Finally, in the modern world, in the 21st century, linguists came up with the perfect solution of learning the language. Are you guys ready to understand what that method is? That method is called communicative methodology of speaking English. What is this method called? If you can hear this method, can you please write in the comments section CLT, communicative methodology, CLL, communicative method, CML, sorry, confusing you, CML. Can you write CML in the comments section below, please? I'm going to take the names of all of those people who are going to write it. Let's see who all write it. CML, communicative methodology of learning the language. Waiting for the comments. CML, lovely. So there's Manjunath, who's written. There's Chauhan, there's Abhinash, Harsh. Okay, oh my God, so many people. I'm losing. Oh, there are so many people. It's like dozens of people writing all together. I wish I was Chitti, the robot from Rajnikant's film, so that I could read all of that. Exactly. I'm really happy. To all those wonderful people, thank you so much. Aren't you guys amazing? I want to tell you guys are so amazing. So somebody said, sir, please come to the point. So coming to the point now and telling you that all those methods have failed when it comes to learning English. And the only method that we need to keep in our mind, head, and our heart is CML, communicative methodology of learning the language. If you're worried about your grammar, I want you to stop worrying about your grammar immediately right now. Because in communicative methodology of learning the language, all you need to focus on to become very fluent in English is to bloody speak in English. That's all. Now, I know there are a lot of people, There are a lot of people. I'm going to answer all of these questions, talking about Kritika is asking what all subjects did I study, etc. I'm going to answer all of these questions, but first we're just going to be finishing this up quite quickly in the next 5 minutes. So, what was I saying? I was saying that, so guys, today from this point onwards, there are 400 people, about 400 people who have joined us in the session. Now I want to tell you, each one of you, this is one magical thing that I've learned in my life and my teachers have taught me, and that is nobody bloody learns a language by keep on doing whatever you're doing. All those methods will fail. People will only learn language. You will only learn language if you follow CML, Communicative Methodology of Learning, which says speak, speak, speak. Worry not about your grammar. People think, but Hridhaan, I have a lot of problems with my grammar. Well, I want to tell you, you can only focus only one thing at a time. There are two things. Either you can focus on grammar or you can focus on fluency. Now, if you're somebody who speaks good English, who speaks English enough to understand and speak, I want to tell you it's time for each one of us to focus on fluency. And now when you will focus on fluency, what will happen? And now when you will focus on fluency, what will happen? You will develop confidence. When you'll develop confidence, what will happen? You will remove hesitation. And that is something that we need to keep in mind, my lovely audience. This was all that I had to tell you about. Kritika started flirting. Funny. This was all about me talking to you about how you can develop fluency when it comes to learning the language. I hope you've all understood that. And from today onwards, whenever you have any doubts of any questions related to, oh my God, I don't know this, oh my God, I don't know that, I just only want you to please focus on speaking the language. And with time, things are going to be taken care of because your confidence will improve. And with the patterns, I want to also give you one very interesting example before we move on to the questionnaires here. And that is things like when people say, hey, I do not know a lot of people who will correct me and all of that. It's very important for us to understand that as you start to speak in English, for example, let's take the example of a kid, a child. When the child is young, as a parent, when you were young, did your parents teach you, okay, today we're going to be learning about nouns and tenses and all of that in your mother tongue. Did your parents ever do that? Your parents never did that. Your parents focused on you speaking in the language. That was the most important part of it. And this is what gets translated when we become adults as well. And as we become adults, we start to speak in English. And when we speak in that particular language, grammar comes with time automatically, pronunciation comes with time automatically, and a lot of other things start to come with time. So, closing the first agenda of the meeting today, and that is, you learn English by speaking in English. Bloody care about nothing else. Use CML. What are you going to use? One more time. Can you write CML in the comment section below? I'm going to be waiting one more time, one last time, and then after that, I'm going to answer all those questions that you have related to English language. Let's see how many comments come on. Start to pour in. Thank you, Manju, again. Excellent, excellent. So many people. So happy. So happy. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, lovely. So now we're going to be moving to the second part of the video, wherein in the second part, I'm going to be answering questions that you have related to English language. So one by one, because the questions are coming, the comments are coming really fast. So one by one, I'm going to be answering these questions. I'd like each one of you to please be patient. I'll look at your questions and start answering those questions. Whatever questions you have, could you start to pour in? put in the comments. That's a very good question, Aman. Thank you for asking this question, Aman Singh Kujur, if that's the correct way in which I'm pronouncing your name. Because of quarantine, I don't have any partners to talk in English. What can I do? Well, Aman, as I said before, when you do not have partners, it is one of the most common reasons that people give when they're not able to, when they're learning language. The only advice that I have for you is, if you have people at home who you can speak with them. Try using simple sentences in English. Those simple sentences will help you. Try using simple sentences. Those simple sentences will help you to develop your base and foundation of learning the language, which is the most important part of it. So please do make sure that you just start speaking and worry not about the partners. Look for the opportunities. Don't look for a partner. Look for the opportunities, and definitely look for the partner as well, a person who you think is devoted and can as well speak in English with you. Do that, please. Next question that we have is, okay, can I learn English without reading? I find it extremely boring and demotivated. Amar Verma has asked this question. Amar, I think it is a very important and interesting question. Personally speaking, Hridhaan, myself, never liked reading. I absolutely detest reading. There are a couple of ways in which you can study language. There are receptive skills and there are productive skills. Receptive skills means things that you receive. Such as, you read a book, you receive content from outside. You listen to things, you receive content from outside. So what you need to keep in mind is very simple, and that is, you can learn language by receiving things from outside. You receive in two ways, either by listening to things or by reading things. If you don't like reading, try listening to things. One second. Let me just adjust it. So if you don't like reading, try listening. So that's one way. The second way of learning language is by productive skills. You produce things either by speaking or by writing. So you can speak, write, and listen if you do not like to read. So that was for you. Nasir Hussain says, I'm from Hyderabad. One second, let me go to the comment. I'm from Hyderabad, and here I don't find anyone who pronounces the words correctly. So after learning from you, when can I pronounce them correctly? Nasir, I've got and this is not just for Nasir, this is for all of us. Those people who want to pronounce words absolutely correctly, who have the love for language and they want to pronounce words correctly. I'd like each one of you guys to please download British Council's Phonemic Chart app. Please note it down somewhere. British Council's Sounds in English. Let me show it to you actually, if I have it. Google Store. I'm going to show this to you. Okay, so I'm going to show this app to you. Can you guys see this? See this app? My wonderful peeps. This is the app that you need to download. This is the app that you need to download to speak in English, and it is called Learn English Sounds Right. If you do this for just one day for just one day, I promise to you, you're going to be coming and talking to me in the next video that I'm going to upload. You're going to be putting it in the comments. This is the app that was my best friend when I was learning language, when I was especially studying English language. This will completely change the way you speak in English. This is that good an app. So that's one solution for you guys. What's the name of the app? The name of the app is English sounds. One more time, I'm just going to be putting it for you guys. 252525. It is Learn English Sounds Right. Go to your Google App Store or iOS Store, App Store, and type Learn English Sounds. This is the solution. Let's move to the next question. If I speak English, but how can I understand? Okay. Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So I'm pursuing MA English, but I can't speak fluent English. How speak fluent English? Sarah, we just answered that question pertaining to that. Please just speak, forget about accuracy, focus on fluency, and things are going to be taken care of automatically. Which is the best standard book? Priyanka has asked this question. Priyanka, the best standard book that we have when it comes to working on your accuracy, which is the correctness of language, is Raymond Murphy. One more time, what is it? Raymond, the clothing brand. So it is Raymond Murphy. The name of the book is English Grammar in Use. Depending on the level of English that you have, you can buy the level of this book. It's got levels starting with elementary, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced version of the book as well. So depending on the grammar that you want to target for yourself, and if you're elementary, do not target for upper intermediate, straight on, buy maybe an intermediate level of book. So you can buy Raymond Murphy, English Grammar in Use. Excellent. Okay, here is one question related to IELTS. Manjunath says, my brother failed in IELTS and got 6.5. How to pass IELTS? Well, Manju, everybody passes IELTS. IELTS is not an exam wherein you've got to be like, there's a pass or a fail on IELTS. It basically is, you're given band from 0 to 9. So basically, depending on the aims that you have, you need to work on the tips and tricks. This exam is not only about, oh my God, do I speak good English? Do I write good English, etc., etc. This exam has got to do more from the analytical part of comprehending the language as well. So it's very important for all of us to understand that very simple thing, and that is to understand the tips and tricks of the writing task, listening, reading, and speaking rounds of the test. And once you get to know that, you'll be able to get your desired band. Okay, here is a... Let me read the questions, please. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you to all of these people who are typing these beautiful, sweet comments. How to increase vocabulary? Now, this is a very important question. How to increase vocabulary? So I'm going to tell you again a very short personal incident. As a kid, I was always interested in speaking absolutely perfect English. I always wanted to be out there in front of people and speak as clearly as possible when it comes to my pronunciation, and speak with as beautiful vocabulary as possible. So what I started doing was I started browsing internet. I started going on YouTube, and I started watching videos of famous people. And one of my most famous couple around the world was Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. I always used to binge watch actually their interviews, their speeches as well, for that matter. And with time I realized that I not only used to watch them, but I also used to make notes of the interesting words and phrases that they used to speak. I never liked reading books, which was one of the comments in which I was answering Aman and to all of you guys. So instead of reading the books, I started watching interviews of famous personalities on YouTube. And not just famous personalities that were very famous for their eloquency. for their amazing communication skills, and Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Saif Ali Khan as well, who's one of the most famous actors that we have in Bollywood. I started watching their interviews. Saif Ali Khan studied in the UK himself, so his English is immaculate. No grammatical errors as such, etc. So I started watching and started noting down the phrases that they would speak. And out of those phrases, I started using those phrases in my daily communication. And as I would write down those phrases, I would just take a moment to understand them, understand the right pronunciation and the right context in which I can use them, and then basically start using them in my personal communication. So this is what that you can do as well. Okay, many new comments. Akash's question is, how to get sufficient confidence to be fluent in English? Please help, Akash. I really like the emoticons that you actually placed there. It's very simple, Akash, as we've spoken about before. When you work towards something, only then that particular thing comes to you. For example, if I make you write for 10 days, will you become better in reading? This is a very interesting question. Guys, I want to ask this question to you. If I make you write in English for 10 days, will you become better in reading? Understand the question. If I make you write for 10 days, can you become better in reading? Yes or no? Please put it down in the comments. I want to see your comments. Okay, Manju, thank you. So there's just Manju who said, no, it cannot happen. And that is absolutely correct. If I make you write, thank you, Abhinash, thank you, Worldwide Lyrics, thank you, Vandana. Exactly. So if I make you write, you will not become better in reading, you will only become better in writing. Similarly, if I make you speak, you will only become better in speaking and not writing or reading. You might as well get better at your pronunciation and your vocabulary and grammar, but not the other skills in English language or listening for that matter. So speak, that's the only solution. It sounds very simple and you're like, yeah, we always know that. But there's no other magical mantra I wish I could tell you. So the only thing that is left for me to tell you is what worked for me and what has worked for a lot of people around the world. And what has worked is speaking, bloody speaking. So please write. Speak. Okay, let's go to the next question. Thank you very much, Kashish. I'm definitely noting down these comments and I'll definitely make sure that I put it down in the videos as well. Let's quickly get down to the most important questions. I'm sorry, I must have missed a lot of comments. Definitely, I know, because the comments are really fast. I'm just trying to catch on to the questions that are there in front of me and answer those questions for you. So if you think that I've missed your questions, please forgive me. It's not the intention. I'm just trying to catch the questions that are there. Arpita says, when I try to use new phrases, I forget what I want to say. Well, that is quite a problem, Arpita. Thank you very much, first of all, for sharing that. I can definitely understand it. What I suggest to you is, Arpita, you have a phone, you have a notepad on your phone. In the notepad, I'd like you to please write your favorite phrases and the meanings of those phrases. Now, study shows that we have our phones all the time in our hands with us. All the time, bloody all the times. So whenever you forget the phrase, I'd like you to please open up your notepad. And as you open up the notepad, you'll be able to see what is there and what is not there. When it comes to, when it comes to the meaning of that particular phrase. So I think this trick might as well help you because it has helped me. Are articles important in conversation? Sagar Patat says, articles such as a and the, they certainly are very important because they help us understand the difference between countable, uncountable, number one, And they also help us understand the difference between something that is common and something that is unique. So certainly articles are definitely very, very important. If you're struggling with the usage of articles, I'd suggest you to please download, not download, watch videos on YouTube on Let's Talk and so many other videos that we have which talk about the right uses of and the, and I'm sure you'll be able to understand the right usage of it. So there's that. Swati Gupta has said, please answer, when I speak English, what I do is translating Hindi to English in my mind. How to avoid this? Swati, this is what the first agenda of this meeting that we have today was. To understand, it's a very important and very valid point. When you actually try making English your lifestyle, you want to speak in English all the time, number one, and you forget about translating everything that is there. Oh my God, how to say whatever there is, let's say one component of the language in the English language. So don't think that it's all a matter of mind, Swati. I think the moment you understand how to eradicate your mother tongue in the usage of second language, then you start to really develop your love for the second language. By that I mean English. So I'd like to tell you to understand, not focusing a lot on what do you call it, translating all the time from Hindi to English, but thinking in English. Now, a lot of people will say how to think in English. Well, there's no particular funda that defines how to think in English. You basically have to speak in English all the time, and that pattern becomes such that you start speaking as you speak. Automatically you stop translating, most importantly, and that is a very important stage psychologically when you start getting fluent at a language. First you translate, then you forget about accuracy, and then there comes a stage when you become really confident, and that's the stage. And how does that happen? When you become unabashed, shameless, and when you just only speak, not to speak correctly but to speak fluently. So as you do that, that helps you eradicate, that helps you do away with the translation as well. Okay, let's move to the next question. How do I improve my listening skills? As I heard that LS, listening, speaking, writing, and reading skills are pertinent to master the language. Thank you very much. Mantri Vinay has asked this question. I think it's a very important question, Mantri. Thank you very much. The question revolves around listening skills. I think I'd like to suggest you to listen to English songs, Mantri. A lot of these solutions that people tell you, the trainers tell you, you know all of that already. But the problem is we do not use it. For example, there are so many things that I know that are good habits for me, waking up, etc., whatever time it is in the morning. But the fact is I don't do it. So till the time I do not do it, I will stop answering these questions. I want all of you to please reflect on the questions that we are asking. And you know the answers of those questions. This is a very important thing that I'm saying in the video. You know the answers of those questions already. What we need to do is start developing the habit of actually actualizing the answers of those questions in reality. Because talking is a very good game. Anybody can do that. Okay, let's talk. What are the solutions and all of that? But there's a psychological shift that is required into making that particular thing that you have inside of your mind into your habit. And for that matter, I'd like to talk about this very interesting book that I was reading, and it's called The Warren Buffett Way. In this book, Warren is actually talking about, he's a world-renowned entrepreneur, and he's talking about the habits of people. And I think this is one very interesting book that helped me understand how I can translate my habits into actions. So please do make sure that we start developing the habits into realities now, and that'll do the job automatically. How to avoid fumbling while speaking? Surendra Singh has asked this question. Surendra, for this question, to avoid fumbling, we use fillers in language. Fillers such as, you know, well, words like, please give me a moment to think about it. All of these phrases or words that we have in English language basically help us understand how to avoid fillers. And when we start to use them, we not only become fluent in English language or the language that is our favorite, the language that we want to study, but we also become, but we also understand that these fillers help us with a great deal of understanding and removing all of those important errors when it comes to fluency. So things such as, well, you know, give me a moment, such as, for instance, all of these are fillers that you can use to avoid fumbling. The name of the app is Sounds in English by British Council. Sounds in English. So when it comes to, what's that on my shirt? Okay, sir, you take tuitions. No, unfortunately, I don't take tuitions. I'm sorry. The schedule is a little tight. 1 second. Could you hold? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Unfortunately, my selfie stick was acting up, and thus I've asked somebody to hold the phone for me. Okay, let's see another interesting question that we have. Do you read books? If you do, which are your favorite books? Kartavya has asked this question. Kartavya, I do definitely read books, but I absolutely hate reading fiction. I like reading self-help books. I like reading books that actually help us understand a lot about how to basically become better as a human being. So there are 2 books that I'm reading during my quarantine period. First one is, it's called Autobiography of a Yogi. So this is one book that is what I'm focusing at these days. That is what I'm reading. And the other book that I was speaking to you about was The Warren Buffett Way, which is more about business, etc. How do you develop business, the habits of a good entrepreneur, etc. So all of these are the books that I'm reading these days. Movies to learn English. There's no one particular movie that I can suggest you to learn English, Piyush, but I can definitely say whatever film you like, please start watching it immediately. And for example, one particular thing that I like is rom-coms. I like romantic comedies. So this is something, but it is different for different people. Some people like scientific fiction. Some people, there are different genres. So depending on the film that you like, basically the storyline, just start doing that. There's no one particular film. But yes, there is a series that I can actually suggest to you. There's a series called, so I'm gonna ask all of you to please put it down into comments. It is called, oh God, what is it called? I'm forgetting the name. Not English Channel. What was it? What was the name of the series that I was watching before? That is based on English. What is it called? I'm going to just tell you something really interesting. You can actually watch this. This is something really, really interesting. It is called Mind Your Language. Oh my God, I want to tell you something really interesting. Can you please write Mind Your Language in the comment section below? I'm going to tell you what it is. Mind Your Language. So can you write MYL? Everyone, let's get started. MYL. I'll tell you what MYL is. Mind Your Language is a series. It is so funny. Oh my God. So there are so many people, there are actually many people around the world. They've gone to the UK And it is this show. This is a show. This is like Friends and all of these sitcoms. So this is a show. There are many people, different nationalities, who have gone to the UK to study English. There are Indians, there are Pakistanis, there are Afghanistanis, there are French, Italian, Japanese, Chinese. There are a lot of Spanish people. There are a lot of people who've gone to the UK to study English. All right. And there's a teacher, and he teaches English, and he's a British guy, and it is so funny. It is a little 16 plus, so you can definitely watch it with your friends and family. It's really interesting. Okay, lovely. So after this, I'd like you to please see what exactly Mind Your Language series is like. I'm sure you're going to love it the moment you start watching it. It's a little old. It was made in the 90s, early 90s, around, I suppose, 1995, but amazing thing to watch. You'll be able to relate actually what happens with you in your daily life when you study, when as you're learning English. You'll be able to relate with your problems, with the problems of those characters that are there in Mind Your Language. Absolutely. It is not available on Netflix, I'm not sure, Deepak. So I think you'd have to check it. Okay. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. This is one problem. Swarnandu Day has said, I want to speak, but after some time, I can't find words to express my thought, and that time I stop my conversation. How can I overcome such problem? This problem only arises, Mr. Day, because of the lack of confidence and hesitation. And this is very much related to fluency that this entire meeting has been about. I'd like to tell you, if in future, again, you have a lot of problems relating to that, worry not, absolutely. Excuse me, worry not. I'd like you to please continue speaking in English. One thing that we need to understand is nobody is perfect in language. The people that we speak with, are they excellent advanced speakers of the language? So definitely no. So what we can definitely keep in mind is everybody is of the same level, especially of the people that we try to communicate with. Sometimes they're not of the level of our English as well, for that matter. So what we can keep in mind is, at least I'm trying. Oh my God, that's the most important part of it all. So what you can keep in mind is focus on speaking, and with time, continue developing on that, and with time you will see that all of these problems will no more be a part of your communication skills. Okay. Okay, excellent. Okay. Thank you very much. So what we're now going to be doing is we are just going to be wrapping up with the session. I'd like each one of you my Misha. Please give me a moment. Comments are really fast, really difficult for me to kind of gauge it all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. One second, please. All righto. Let's see some other. Are you world's best? Wrapping up how to recollect words we know in a particular situation. I am a vegetarian. Yes, I'm an absolute vegetarian. I'm a North Indian Brahmin, so by virtue of that, not by virtue of that, I'm quite against animal cruelty, and I am vegetarian, yes. Okay, part of speech, can you please tell? Focus on. We have answered questions that are related to vocabulary, the same questions. Questions related to vocabulary. Is there anybody who has questions related to pronunciation or grammar? If you have any questions that are related to pronunciation and grammar, could you please put it down? And we'll see the question. I'm going to select the questions that is going to help us all. So please do not worry about, oh my God, my question is not selected. So let's just one final time see questions that are related to that. Now, this is a very important question, how to develop accent. Now, imagine if I had to teach you, let's say, okay, something very important. Imagine if I had to teach you Spanish. Would you want me to teach you South Spain Spanish, North Spain Spanish, or Standard Spanish? I'm going to give you three choices. I'd like you to please put it down into comment section below. If I teach you Spanish language, let's imagine. Now you must be like, English is hard, you're teaching us Spanish. So let's see it for an example. If I teach you Spanish, would you want to study Standard Spanish, South Spain Spanish, or North Spain Spanish? Please put it down in the comment section. I want to see what you guys write here. Thank you very much, Shruti, for answering that. All of us would want to speak standard Spanish, right? So if I teach you English language, would you want to study American English, British English, or Standard English? The Standard English is actually from the country, from the origin that English comes from, and that is the UK English. I do not want to teach you, I do not want you to learn Australian English, Canadian English, UK English, Irish English. I want to be a perfect standard speaker of English language, and therefore accent is not at all important. A lot of people say, well, I lived half of my life abroad, and I moved abroad when I was really, really young. So the impact of sounds in English language was, I had a major impact of sounds in English language. And not just that, I was consciously taught the sounds in English language, and that is why I was able to develop whatever sound system that I have as I speak in English. For example, I see a lot of people do not use the words, do not say thank you, they say thank you. They use the th sound, thank you. And I say thank you, which is the standard way of speaking English. And we've spoken about it in one of the videos as well. And that is, the TH sound is pronounced as sound. So this is one of the standard ways of speaking in English. And in Australian, in American English, people roll the R sound in this, and they. Now, if you have come from a certain region and if you speak American English like that, it is absolutely all right. But if you're in India and if you're studying English, and if you want to speak like, let's say Niharika actually studied in America, and she speaks like native because she's been a part of the US for a major part of her life. So if people say, I want to speak like Niharika, or I want to speak like Hridhaan, or I want to speak like let's say Michelle, etc., that's not the way it is done. When you go on the app that I've told you, and if you're a speaker, if you're a second language speaker of English language, you'll be able to understand the sound system. Just follow the sound system and you're going to be the standard speaker of English language. If you want to be the standard speaker, I'd like you to please write yes, a big yes in bold in the comment section below. Utkarsh is quite excited, says, speak something in Hindi. What do I speak in Hindi, Utkarsh? You need to be on LearnX. Waiting for all of these comments. A lot of comments coming up, everyone. Okay, I am really fluent in English, but tenses have always But tenses have always, one second, everyone. I'm just going to be holding it for you. So people say, and that says, I'm really fluent in English, but I've always struggled with tenses. As I said, Raghav, one of the important things that you can keep in mind is when it comes to tenses to focus on this very important book that I'd suggested you, and that was, what was that book? That was Raymond Murphy. So you can buy this book, and it's a self-help book. It'll help you. So there's an explanation and there are questions with it. Explanation and there are questions with it, and that'll basically help you understand how you can cater to the needs of tenses and speak perfectly. I think it is time for us to wrap this session now. Wrap means to come to an end. I'd like to say it has been quite nice talking to each one of you. Thank you very much for being with me. I love each one of you a lot. I'm not saying this because I've got a channel and you guys are the audience. It's just that I feel absolutely amazing to be able to connect with so many people and help people with the most genuine advices that I could possibly give from my part. Thank you very much, my lovelies. I love you a lot again. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for your time. Just very important quick announcement. Let's Talk has started new channels as well. Let's Talk Marathi and Let's Talk Telugu. I'd like each one of you to please go to those channels, and if you speak any of those languages, and if you think there are people who you know speak those languages and would want to speak English from there, please go to those channels. Amazing channels with great content like Let's Talk and LearnX, and you'll be able to speak English, learn English through Marathi and Telugu. Thank you very much again. My best wishes, love and blessings with each one of you. Please take good care of yourself, and not just yourself, of your loved ones and family members as well. This was Hridhaan. God bless.